Stay back! I'm warning you! Oh, thank God. Oh, it's over. What was that? What's up, Planeswalker? How you doing? We got more Ixalan action today with some mono green stompy, so blue-white players, wrong video, your estrogen is on aisle 7. Okay, that's enough of that. But you heard right. Today, our Ixalan commander is none other than the new Ghalta Stampede Tyrant, a 3 green and 5 colorless 12/12 Elder Dinosaur. When Ghalta enters the battlefield, we can put any number of creature cards from our hand onto the battlefield. So this commander keeps things pretty simple. Count 8 and then proceed to dump your hand, and if you have a haste enabler, you probably win. Now, of course, there are some issues with an 8 mana commander, but you know me, Planeswalkers, we aren't here to win. We're here to make others suffer. So this deck, I think you'll find, has a few tricks up its sleeve, and it's not as innocent as your opponents may think at first. So the game plan is to ramp fast and get to our commander. We'll just be using every mono green combo in the book to get there. Before I get started, if you have a commander you want featured in a video like this, leave it in the comments or join our channel Discord. So to start our creatures off, we have the mana dorks, and there's a lot of them. First, Arbor Elf, which can untap for us, and when you run Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, selling your Nykthos is making Mega Mana. Birds of Paradise is a straightforward mana dork that can block a flying creature later in the game. Delighted Halfling is one of our better mana dorks, as it can make our commander uncounterable, and believe me, that is important because our commander is 8 mana and it's easily telegraphed. Elvish Mystic, Findhorn Elves, and Llanowar Elves are regular mana dorks that just make us mana. Beast Caller Savant is a mana dork that can give haste, which is pretty important when your commander only needs to swing twice to take a player out of the game. Crashing Drawbridge is a really important haste enabler because now our commander and all the creatures he puts down can have haste. Priest of Titania for even more mana. We play about 8 elves, so it won't be making as much mana as the elf player. Well, actually it will, because if there is an elf player at the table, we tap for their elves as well. Secure Tribe Elder or Steve is pretty standard mana ramp that always provides the best chump blocks. Eternal Scourge, and I know that seems strange, but it's here as part of a combo. We're playing a filthy card like Food Chain, which if you didn't know, gives you infinite mana to play creature spells. And if we're lucky, it gives us an opportunity to have a turn 3 kill with this deck. Eternal Witness to get even more cards like Food Chain or Big Lads back into our hand. Gwynna, Eyes of Gaia, because mana is important, and mana dorks that get bigger and untap are even better for us to play. Zavala, Heart of the Wilds draws cards, but be careful because your opponents, if they play big cards, can also draw off this. But what's really important is the second ability, which makes a boatload of mana in this deck. Shaman of Forgotten Ways is yet another mana dork that has a big ability that can set everyone's life total super low or even kill them if they have no creatures. Somberwald Sage, you guessed it, another mana dork. Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma, offers a big discount, and also when he swings he pumps our big creatures and gives them trample. Karametra's Acolyte, and let me hear you say it, yep, another mana dork. Nylea Keen Eye is an indestructible god that discounts creatures and has an ability that gets creatures into our hand. Teamer Sabertooth is a nice way to put our big creatures with ETBs back into our hand. Plus, with the haste enabler, it can produce infinite mana depending on the mana dork's ability to make mana. Kogla, the Titan Ape, is a big creature that fights on ETB, can put humans back into our hand, like humans like Eternal Witness, and when it swings we can blow up artifacts and enchantments. Regal Behemoth is a big lad that makes our lands tap for more mana, and we also get the fun Monarch mechanic, which is always such a joy to play with. Soul of the Harvest is a good way to fill our hand if we play this card with our commander's ability. Saw Rocking Goreclaw is a sweet way to give haste to all our creatures, especially when we play with our commander's ability along with like 3 other big creatures. Vigor is our mill denial piece, and it's a big creature that makes combat against us a nightmare. Plus, Death Touch doesn't work against us anymore. Nyx Bloom Ancient gives us triple mana from any of our mana sources. I hope you're sensing a theme here. Old Gnawbone for even more in mana that we can store to play our commander again. Regal Force is always a good way to fill your hand in a green deck, especially when it's free and it comes down with extra cards. Tyrannix Rex for our Blightsteel at home, but this card comes with haste and counts as a green card for cards like Regal Force, so I guess it might be a little bit better than Blightsteel in this deck. Verdant Sun's Avatar to gain a heap of life, especially with one single cast from our commander. Zofandril, Hunger Dominus, because sure, our creatures are big, but they can always be bigger. Craterhoof Behemoth, because everyone loves dying to this card and no one's ever salty about it. And Raise Forerunner as our backup, not so good Craterhoof. Either way, the more ways to pump our creatures, the better. Jurassodon to show mono black players which color has the best removal. Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger, this is the one that ramps us and makes our opponent's lands stay tapped for an extra turn. Apex Allosaur can deal with some of our opponent's problem creatures when it ETBs. World Spine Worm, because who doesn't love a 15/15 that shuffles back into the library and makes 3 5/5s on the way out. Ghalta, Primal Hunger can be played pretty fast in this deck, especially with our huge creatures, and then we throw in some haste and it can quickly smash some players. We are playing a Planeswalker. It is Nissa who shakes the world for even more ramp. Will it ever end? Nope. Plus, we get extra creatures with this card that make our Crater Hoof all the better. Starting our spells out, we have Heroic Intervention for some protection, Nature's Lore, and Rampant Growth for ramp. We really love ramp in this deck. Beast Within to remove problems, Cultivate because
ramp,
Entis Restoration is ramp, Kodama's Reach is ramp, Monstrous Fall to turn one of our big creatures into a big amount of cards, and the life gain is not shabby. Sky Shroud Claim, Return to the Wild Speaker to draw cards or beef up the board for a big swing, Traverse the Outlands is... Okay, what the hell is this? How much ramp are we putting in this deck? I get it, our commander's 8 mana, but this is ridiculous.
Get back to work,
Rishkar Expertise is another great way for us to fill our hand, and we can get an extra permanent like Food Chain on the battlefield for free. Finally, Last March of the Ents is a power move in this deck, as we can easily hit a Crater Hoof or Old Gnawbone and Haste Enablers to finish the game off. In our Artifacts and Enchantments, we have Soul Ring for more ramp, Emerald Medallion for discount on all our spells, Throne of Eldraine for even more ramp and card draw later. For everything else, we have Concordant Crossroads to give haste to all our creatures. That includes your opponents, so be very careful. Elemental Bond to draw a card when we play big creatures. The Skull Spore Nexus is a new card that gets cheaper with big creatures, and it makes tokens when our non-token creatures die equal to the power and toughness of the creature that died. What's really cool about this card is its last ability. It doubles a creature's power for only 2 mana, meaning our commander can dish out lethal really fast. Food Chain is a combo piece that lets us play creatures in our hand and our commander really fast. Garrus Uprising is a card draw engine with the ability to give all our creatures trample stapled onto it. The Great Henge, if you live under rock, is a massive engine in any deck that plays a lot of creatures. It gets cheaper based on the power of a creature, it draws cards when you play a creature, it even boosts their power with counters, and if you're still not sold, you get 2 life every time you tap it for 2 mana. Tribute to the World Tree is more card draw and it buffs up our smaller dorks. Guardian Project for even more cards, and Virtue of Strength for 2 spells in 1. It can first bring back a creature or land to our hand, and then it is an enchantment that ramps us. For the mana base, Forest will do just fine, but don't shy away from any utility lands. If you're looking for a mana base to copy, I have one in the deck list found in the description of this video. My recommended land for this deck is Nykthos Shrine to Nyx for even more ramp, because you can never have enough. For the combo section of this video, I'll be showing one of the combos in the deck, but there are more for you to find. So this combo is really simple to understand. All we need is Food Chain and Eternal Scourge. Now once both permanents are on the battlefield, we can exile Scourge to make 4 mana that can be used to cast creatures. Then, thanks to Scourge's wording, we can cast it from exile for 3 mana, netting a mana each time we exile it and cast it. We'll do this till we can play our commander and hopefully win the game. This combo gets even better if we have a draw engine like Elemental Bond, as now we can draw our deck and play our commander and dump all our creatures on the battlefield with haste thanks to cards like Surrock and Goreclaw. Just make sure you're careful about not decking yourself, because some of these card draw engines like the Elemental Bond are not a May and you will be drawing cards for them. That's going to do it for today's deck, and I do hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how I did, or tell me about your favorite ramp card in the comments below. Subscribe or join to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.